Obligatory podcast intro.
Hi, hello, and welcome. This is Flipping Pages with Matt and Adam. I'm Matt with my co-host Adam, and this show is where we take all 31 letters of the alphabet, we put them in a barbecue pit, we each draw a letter, and then pick a comic that begins with that letter. I don't know his, he doesn't know mine. Spoilers ahead for both of these comics, and possibly any other random stuff we talk about. We possibly could spoil it.
Pretty bad about that.
So real quick, I drew what did I draw? What did you draw?
I got V.
You got V and I got what's mine called? I got O again.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So before we get into it, last week I did a comic called Quad.
Yep.
It was 4 issues and then the comic stopped.
Yeah.
So it was supposed to keep going. So I messaged the writer of the 4th story called Sally. His name is Eduardo Ferragato. And I spoke to this guy on Instagram. Really cool dude. So I asked him what was going on, if he was supposed to continue, what's going on with the comic. And this dude, class act, he sent me...
Quick.
Real quick. Like the morning, I hadn't even gotten off work yet before we had finished our entire conversation.
Yeah.
He sent me, he said that in Brazil,
It was
the
Brazil,
other
I
volumes...
couldn't remember.
Yeah.
So Portuguese.
Portuguese, yeah. So
Okay.
the other volumes had come out. There was 3 other volumes in English, and the 4th volume is only in Portuguese.
Yeah, so the 3 volumes each had 4 issues each.
Yeah, so
Or 4 stories
and my
each.
dumbass was confused. He kept saying, I'll send you the first 3 volumes. And I was like, oh, I have the first 4.
Yeah.
I thought he meant issues. This guy sent me issues 1 through 12 of a comic that is not available for me. All I could find to purchase digitally, actual copy is 1 through 4. Volume 1, paperback, issues 1 through 4.
Yeah.
He sent me issues 1 through 12.
That's so dope.
So awesome. So shout out Mr. Eduardo Ferragato,
Yes, sir.
writer of Sally in the Quad comic, Behemoth that turned to Sumerian. Awesome, man. We
He's a
deeply
class
appreciate
act,
it.
for real.
Very, very cool.
Yep.
Very exciting for us, too.
Yeah.
Also, I'm just going to say it now. If I get Q again, I'm just going to do the rest of Quad.
I mean, it makes sense.
Totally.
It makes sense.
No question. I'm just Q was hard. I'm just going to do the rest of Quad.
Q's hard, so yeah, do it.
And if you get it, maybe.
Oh, right. Oh, that would be awesome for me to do it this time.
Yeah, right? You
Oh,
could do,
shit.
the whole
that could work.
second 4 issues. Because it's funny, I thought it was an anthology until I got to the last issue. Because it has a little bumper page that's like, next on Qual. And I was like, no!
Yeah.
But it was so good. It presented it as an anthology. That's kind of how I thought about it. Was like, oh, it's just 4 issues in this world's cool.
That's it,
I love it anyway. Sally, the one Mr. Ferragato wrote, would being my favorite.
It was really good. It really
So
was.
I think he did the first issue of the 2nd volume too.
Cool.
So I think that's him.
That's awesome.
So I'm excited to read those.
Yeah.
I may read them, may wait till I get Q again. I don't know. But sir, if you're listening, thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
And I found him on Instagram. He's got a bunch of cool stuff.
He does. Okay, so real quick, right after, like a day or 2 after we had been talking about him, I was on there and it was in my feed or whatever, and I was like, oh, it was a black and white like sketch version,
Yeah.
and then a colored version of something. I liked it, and I was like, who is that? It was him.
Oh, nice. So
It was funny.
great art, great
Yeah.
storyteller. That
Seriously.
comic was amazing.
Very
Y'all
good.
go check him out.
Yeah.
Give him some love. And then give us some love if you feel like it.
While you're there.
While you're there. All right, so get in your bullshit. What you got?
Yeah. So I got V, which I already do a V?
I did a V.
You
I did
a V.
Vice.
Okay, that's right.
Superhero cops
Yeah, so
with the guns.
I got the V and I went directly over to my bookshelf, my
Right,
comic book
right.
shelf, and I 100% had a V that I hadn't done yet.
Mm.
So I got one called Vendor. It's from a company called Viper Comics. They were established.
Oh, no, I've never
No,
heard of
I was
them.
going
No.
to say,
Yep.
don't play me. Don't play me.
No idea.
No, so they came out, the comic book company came out in 2001. This comic was released in 2008.
The company started in 2001?
Yep.
Okay.
Viper. Viper started in 2001.
Yeah.
This comic, 2008. This comic is written by Kevin Abrams and Adam Moore. It's illustrated and lettered by Nick Balse. And I know, B-A-L-C-E.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, right.
It's so close.
And cover, he did lettering and he did the cover too. That's what it was.
Okay.
Yeah, so he did the illustrations, the lettering, and so all the art. He did like everything for this.
Nick Boss.
Which the cover is actually my favorite.
Yeah, it is cool. I've seen it kind of sitting out over here before.
Yeah, it's
before
been
you've
here.
read it, I'm assuming. But
Yeah, it's been here, but it's cool. It's got like, what is that called? The Vitruvian Man, right? Something like that.
Yes.
With like the limbs kind of separated off, because just to jump in quick, this is a story about removing limbs and putting on new limbs from dead people, from animals,
Frankenstein and that shit.
everything you can imagine. Yeah.
Oh, animals too?
Animal parts, like you could like do just your legs. So we have guys in here that have horse legs on the back legs, so they're not a centaur. They look more like a fawn. They look more like a fawn.
Okay. So like a regular dude with a back and horse legs?
Just legs. Just the legs are
okay.
horse legs. Like, but all the way up.
Oh, like a yeah.
So he's just got 2 legs or whatever. But since they're so strong and the bodies are so little, they can jump like on buildings and shit.
Oh, nice.
So some people do that on purpose. Some people will get animal parts because they can't afford human parts anymore.
Oh, well, shit. I'll take some fucking gorilla arms. I want a tail.
Oh, it's cool. Some people
Give me eagle wings.
in the beginning, it's frowned upon. I don't think it's illegal, but like everybody's like, gross. You're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, that'd be
and there was
fucked
a
up.
small subset that had to do it because they had to. They couldn't afford human pieces, so they did it on
Well, you
out
could
of
just
necessity.
not do it.
They would die.
Oh.
That's what it. Yeah, that's what I'm
so
about
like
to get
organs
to.
and shit.
So
That's what you're talking about.
No, it's usually limbs. So I'll get into it.
Okay.
This is
Please do.
a story of a post-Moss world. So how we're a post-COVID world, this is a post-Moss world, where this crazy virus that we actually find out real quick, our lead character had a very large hand in creating.
Oh,
So
wow.
like that's like a big thing for the story, but they kind of like bury the lead. I don't know. It happens. They explain it pretty quick. You'll find out.
Post Moss.
Yeah, so like the virus got out because of our guy.
Okay.
And it spread, and the whole world. I forgot how many billions, but like
shit,
6
really?
billion people died.
Damn.
Like quick, like real quick. It's
Damn, dog.
technically a aggressive flesh-eating virus that feasts on human body parts. So what it is like if you touch anything that's got the moss on it, it gets on you and you're infected. So what happens is, where do you usually touch things? Your fingers and your hands and whatnot.
My face.
Yeah. So when you're walking around and you brush up against a tree that's got moss on it or something, it gets on your arm. If you immediately look down and you say, I have a moss infection, and like a zombie infection, treat it exactly like a zombie infection.
Right.
But there is no coming back from the dead. You just die.
You just die.
You can lop off that arm. And
was
in
gonna
this
ask.
world, they have technology where they have cauterized knives. So you can just slice your whole arm off and it doesn't bleed or anything. You can put a new arm on, spray this special spray that reattaches it within like 15 seconds.
Flex Seal.
Yeah, it's like the super. Yeah, it's like the commodity in this world. They use it
for body
They
parts.
use it to make drugs, but also to put your body parts back on.
Oh, weird.
So constantly people get infected by the moss. They chop off pieces, and then they have to either get electronic pieces or just not have an arm, or they buy body parts. So the main currency, the main everything in this world is body parts.
Weird, because the moss is so rampant?
Yes.
Or post Moss? Is it
It's
gone? Or
no.
is it still...
Moss is everywhere. It's,
Okay.
They described it
'Cause
as
it's
the
already
post-Moss.
happened. It's
Yeah,
post.
exactly.
Yeah.
The like full on like apocalypse of it all has already happened.
So back to this drug spray. So these guys are just like on the arm, and then they're like one for the doctor.
So so the base to make the drug is the part that it's called stitch. You spray it on and it puts you back together. But if you take that and you mix some other stuff in it and
it
you
gets you
use
high.
it gets you super
So
high.
this is available for everyone? Just real
no,
quick,
it's supposed
or-
to be from doctors and stuff. So there's a big
okay,
black
okay.
market for it, obviously. And our main character, he's like a parts broker. I don't
big
know how
black
else you would like a parts broker. I don't know how else. So he's got a special. This is so weird. He's got a special ability that lets him sense when somebody's about to die. So he can show up to somebody who's right about to die and ask them nicely, or even say he'll pay their family or whatever, I need all your limbs as soon as you die. Is that okay?
He can feel it?
He gets like a sense. His face like tingles and stuff.
So he's like visiting these people because he knows they're about to die.
Yeah.
Okay.
They don't know him at all. He shows. He
right.
walks around until he feels it. That lady in there is about to die.
Go find them.
He goes and finds them.
Oh shit! Okay.
And so he'll go up there.
Good racket.
So in this part, he shows up to this lady.
Sorry, real quick. Are they like regular people? They're just Earthly,
yeah,
regular.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, the technology advanced to apparently facilitate chopping arms off and spraying them back on.
I just didn't know if they were some advanced creatures,
No,
different types,
like
or
everything
anything.
besides that looks pretty friggin' right now.
Okay,
It's
so just he's wearing a tie.
contemporary.
Okay,
Yeah, it's pretty contemporary.
He's got glasses.
Like I said, it's maybe it's the slight future. They actually didn't say what year this happened. So our guy is his name, god dang, John J. Vender. Yeah, so that's not
I was
his
gonna
real.
call him Vendor as a joke. I didn't realize that's his actual
he's not
name.
actually. That's a made up name.
That's funny.
because like he's hiding
For
or
his
whatever.
work. Okay.
Yeah, so it's a made up name. They actually, I tried to find it, but I couldn't find where they said his real name.
Is that his job title too, Vendor?
Yeah, basically. Yes. Yeah. Of course,
yeah.
they're right on the nose with this. So just right now, this comic's awesome. The story's awesome. The everything about it is awesome. I'm not a super fan of the art. But it's not bad art. It's just not my style.
Oh, here's our segment. How
How
are the
the
faces?
faces.
Yeah. How were they?
Actually, pretty good. You can
Faces
tell.
were all right?
Yeah, you can tell the difference between people.
They seem distinct
They're
characters,
not
but
confusing.
I see the art. You mean it's? I mean, I don't know how to explain.
I have no
it.
clue. We're bad at the art.
You just know you don't. I don't
Description.
like it either.
I
I don't want to say I don't like
very
it.
smooth,
Yeah,
like
smooth.
in maybe indie cartoon style. Like I don't know how we're
Yeah.
terrible about that.
Man, it looked like a cartoon. Like you could
Yeah,
see that
exactly.
Saturday morning.
Yeah,
almost.
yeah. So
All right,
like
that was our segment. How are the faces?
Yeah, the faces are cool. They're actually cool. So, like I said, it opened up with him running into this lady. Can I have your limbs when you're gone? She was
Right.
like, yeah, of course. Right before she dies, a guy busts in. He's like, get out of here. I'm taking her stuff. And, like, he was about to kill her and then steal her limbs and
right.
whatnot.
Oh, because
And-
that's how she was about to die.
Yeah, and so...
oh, weird.
No, she was dying from like cancer. Or
Oh, I was
something.
about to say, he
no,
could
no.
stop all
not,
this,
Not
like-
Spider-Man style.
Yeah.
No, I am glad I nipped that in the bud. So like, he fights off this, I don't know, the jacker muggers. They call them body muggers. The names and stuff in here aren't super creative, but they get
Call
the
him
job done.
Arm jacker.
Yeah, they get the job done. Whatever. So he fights this guy, and he's like, "You're a bad guy. I'm a good guy because I wait till they're dead." Like, and he's like splitting hairs. He's really splitting hairs. So we see him get his limbs from the lady, and he shows up in the suburbs, and he runs into a guy called not runs into. He goes to a guy. I'll just call him.
He took
General.
care of the bad guy?
Yeah, he killed him. He killed him and then
Oh.
took his limbs.
Nice.
So yeah, I should have said that. That
Yeah,
was a
what
really
the
cool
hell?
part.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the body mugger comes in, they fight. He just shoots him. I think he kills him, just shoots him
So
like
he
that.
went in for 4, came out with 8.
Yeah, exactly. And like
Do they take the dicks?
he's walking. I don't think so, actually.
Okay, so
they
4 and
definitely.
8,
Okay, so in just a second, we find out that people are like fetishing with it and stuff. They're
Obviously,
putting together. They're
yep.
like, yeah, you know. Okay, so
Ooh,
the fight.
okay,
Yeah. So he chops off all his limbs, so now he's got a bunch of limbs. He shows up to the general's house. The general's wife's arm got chopped today because she works in a moss, orphan camp. So she's always getting it, constantly picking up moss and having to get her arms replaced like constantly.
Oh, damn.
Like and he's like, just stop going. Stop going. You're going to run out of arms. Like, there's not enough arms for you to do this so many times. And he's real friendly with these people. So the general and his wife, they seem to be like friends. This is where we learn about the spray that attaches your limbs. And he's the one that made a better version of it.
Oh, okay.
It literally looks like WD-40 in a
Yeah,
can
it does.
or something. So
Same design,
he's like
too.
discussing his life kind of with these people. They're very friendly. And he replaces their arm and he takes off and goes home. He gets approached by a Jeeves type character and says, I'm going to have to fast forward, otherwise I'm going to be talking forever. A Jeeves character comes to his house or comes to his office and goes, "Hey, come see my master." He didn't say master, my boss. But he's like, "No, I don't want to do that." He goes, "We'll give you $100,000 just for showing up." And he was like,
I'm there.
okay. And so he goes and he meets this guy. What was his name? Newton, Mr. Newton. He lives in like the only rich part of town that's left. This part of town has sprayers and misters. The moss is like almost non-existent in this spot.
They only have that there in the rich neighborhoods?
The richest of the rich.
Dicks.
So like he kind of mentions that like even the kind of rich people, they didn't have it, weren't able to get in here. Only like the billionaire.
That should be surrounding the cities.
So he comes in, the father's name is Newton and his wife's name is Rachel. His wife and his son are mad infected with moss, like bad, to the point where like when they show it later, as of right now you can't even see where the moss is on them, but later like you see it's like all over their body and stuff. So the idea was he needed to save his wife because his wife knew the cure to the moss. She had been working on the cure to the moss, and this guy's like, this guy's like, yeah, if we need to save my son and my wife, she's working on the cure. She has the cure. We just need to revive her, or whatever. So that starts the whole arc of our story.
So the rich guy's like, save my wife.
Save my wife. I'll give you like $10 million or something crazy. Okay. So he leaves there. He gets picked up by the general, the guy he met earlier. Mm-hmm. The general works for the Moss Global Task Force. So like the FBI for Moss, or CDC for Moss.
Okay.
And so he's like actually really high up in there. So you figure that out, that he was doing like illegal stuff. Our vendor guy was helping him out with the legal stuff because he couldn't do it through proper channels, whatever.
Right.
So he's like
missions.
Yeah. So he's like, yeah. So you need to save that chick, and he was like, what? And because he didn't, that wasn't the same guy. It was a different guy that asked him to save his wife. He goes, that lady knows the cure to the moss. You have to save her.
Well, yeah. Right.
So that starts his mission, and this part's awesome. I could have skipped this, but I love it. He's like just walking by, and then he sees this dude in like a scuba outfit, basically. Look, like it's basically like a scuba outfit. And he's got like a water gun, like a spraying nozzle gun, and it's got moss in it.
Oh, what
so
a bitch.
So he's just walking around spraying innocent
fucking
people.
Dick.
Look, he did it to a little girl, like a little girl.
Man.
He's just spraying everybody, and we learned that these are zealots, freaks from this cult that worships the moss.
Of course.
It would happen in real life.
Yeah,
100%.
Of course. Those weirdos would definitely show up.
Yeah. So we get he's like, whoa, and he the moss guy, he's got a number. He doesn't even have a name. What's his number? 1340. 13-40.
Stupid number too.
Yeah, he's an idiot. He like instantly sees our man and starts like spraying at him. Our man puts his arm up, chops his arm like in the same motion, like blocked the moss with his arm, used his cauterizing knife to chop his whole arm off, and then he went into his he's got a giant briefcase that seems to hold more limbs and stuff than it ever should in real life. Like, look, he just
got
opened
a video
it up.
game
Look
suitcase.
look how many like pop out. And he's got like multiple layers of that.
Oh, cool.
He's got a lot.
That's pretty dope.
He, in the instant, throws on the body mugger's arm from earlier, who had a giant muscular arm, and the end of his hand was actually a black man's hand that's grafted on.
Oh, wow.
So his hand part is way bigger. His arm's like muscly and stuff, but his hand's actually like way bigger. So he put that arm on and starts kind of whooping.
Does moss go through clothes?
Yes, clothes.
So if he threw his arm, his busted a moss-covered arm at the bad guy.
If it hit the bad guy and was able... Oh, so he's wearing enough... So that's what I was going to say.
Okay, the armor.
Like, there's like hazmat suits and stuff you can wear.
Okay.
So that's why he looks like a scuba diver.
Right.
So they start fighting, and then some lady gets hit in the leg with the moss, and our man vendor runs over there without saying a word and chops her leg off with the cauterized knife to save her or whatever. And he's just like... a superhero, but he's not. You know what I mean?
Slides her a leg and then hits her in the face with the spray bottle.
He's killing it.
You're welcome.
And he gets over there and he gets the dude. He's like about to get him. And the guy stabs him in his arm that's already mossed up. And then he chops his arm off for the second time in the same fight.
Jesus.
So he's on his third arm now in just this fight.
In a few panels.
Yeah. So he runs away. He gets away. The moss guy sprays the police down. That's how he gets away. The moss guy, police show up.
Damn.
The moss asshole sprays all the cops, and it goes quarantine, and then they all explode in a fireball because they had like a fail safe in their costumes or whatever, and their armor. Yeah. So our man Vinder runs away from this crazy situation. He goes to the one bar that he goes to. He's drinking. He pays the bartender fingers and toes to let him drink alone after hours, basically, or whatever, or closes it. So his like one friend, one of the only friends they show him having, his name is Simpson. He wears like a straight up purple pimp outfit. Like a pimp named Slickback.
I was about to say pimp named Slickback.
Yeah, he looks exactly like that.
That's what he does. That's
so
funny.
he comes in, he lets him know, hey, there's a bounty on your head, bro. And he's like, what? What am I going to do? And he's like, I can help you. Let's team up, bro. I'll split the money with me, but we'll team up, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, no, dude, no, I'm good. So he goes, he needs body parts, he needs gear and stuff because he don't want to go back to his office. So he goes to his one like other homie. And I wouldn't say homie, more like business associate. So her name is Lorna Doone. And look, she's an amalgamation of just every kind of piece of a human you can imagine, just kind of mushed together. Like part of her is obese, part of her is very skinny. Like her head has definitely been like replaced or something.
Yeah, her left leg is all slim.
Yeah. So she's like kind of portrayed as like a Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah,
like in like just actions and stuff, not just
in
her
a
looks.
nightgown.
Yeah, and like she's very salacious. She's like trying to bang our man.
Yeah, I'd hit it.
And he's well, she's like super powerful and famous. So if she's gonna
totally
hit
it.
So
I want to be a rapper.
He asked info to try to figure out stuff how to get parts or whatever for the Rachel chick that he's supposed to save.
Right.
So Lorna gives him a bunch of info. And he goes to a circus that's run by a dude named Arm and Hammer. He's got a snake grafted onto one of his arms, and the snake eats a dog, and then he pukes the dog up.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, so somehow the arm goes all the way into his stomach, and then or something. I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So he runs into the circus people. They're doing the drug, the whatever, and he's like, "This is a gross." Like, and then he explained how to do it, make it better. He was like, "Use vinegar next time, whatever." And so our man Arm and Hammer gives him info that he needs to know about the what are they called? The Jordans. They're the horse brothers. There's like 6 of them that all got horse legs put in.
Why they? Okay.
They're like their own gang, and they used to work at the circus. That's how the circus man knows the info about them. So
why go to them though? What do they?
They have
know?
something to do with the limbs that he needs, or like
for
the Rachel chick.
Yeah, the rich guys.
Yeah, they know where limbs are coming. They know a good source of limbs. That's what it is.
Okay.
He doesn't know where that source is. It's somewhere far away, and he needs to talk to them about it. Blah blah blah. So he runs. He goes and finds them. They're like, "We could kill you, whatever," but they help him by giving him the info he needs. He gives him a bunch of his really good stitch spray. So not the drug version, just the base version. So it's more important than the drug version.
Right. So wait, why couldn't he just give her the limbs that he had in his briefcase? Like, they don't say it?
No. So I went back to my due diligence. Like, I could not see the part why. He said he needed women's limbs like his at her age or something.
So like a specific
type.
type.
And he needed kids all at the same time. He needed kids.
They might reject it if it's
something.
So you can't give him an old black guy's arm if he's like a 13-year-old boy.
Yes, they should.
I mean, that makes sense. I get it.
The dad was like, "I'm rich. My family's not going to be inconvenienced." Is how he kept saying it. Inconvenienced. Oh, they're in a cryo chamber, by the way. I didn't explain that. The only reason they're not already dead from Moss is he's so rich he put him in a cryo chamber.
That's sweet.
So he goes and talks to the horse guys. They actually give him.
That's how I'd sleep every night.
the Jordans. He goes to them. They give him the info. It's this cult. It's the cult that the
Zealots.
Exactly.
Where Scuba Guy's from.
Yes, exactly. They tell him where he's at, where they're at, and what they're about. They believe that some of them are immune to the moss, and that their main leader is definitely immune to the moss. His name was Harrison.
A, he's probably not, and B, no one gives a shit. No,
let's see. So
let's
you obviously he's a cult leader, so he's lying, but he's actually not 100% lying.
Okay, yeah. Well, I was interested to see what happens to this.
I actually kind of like this. I kind of like this part of it.
I'm digging the story. It's really interesting.
It's cool, man, and I'm going in honestly quite a bit of detail. That's why it's taking so long. But
it's not taking that long, bro.
We're good. So he shows up to the camp and he looks around. There's no misters. There's none of the stuff the rich people were using to stay safe.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of these people are not getting sick. So some of them really are freaking immune, he finds out. Not everybody.
So
but
the moss is just everywhere, and what is it, cultist, like, is it a compound?
Yeah,
houses,
exactly.
Or
here.
What?
Look. It's a school.
It is. Okay,
high
it's
school.
a straight up compound school. Yeah.
I think it was a high school or something.
Their village campment shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're all camping on the football field.
So no deterrence for the moss at all.
No,
just
dude.
Tents
So he's
in the
like,
schoolyard.
This is crazy. Here, I'll read the one line. First thing that hits me is there's not a single ionizer or anti-moss system installed anywhere. It's like the epidemic passed this place over.
That's the love of Jesus.
Yeah, so he like tricks his way into the compound by kind of faking that he's immune. So he gets into the compound, and then we start getting... I'll get into it. We start learning about his history. He's doing this because the white Rachel chick reminds him of his African-American wife that he had before. Mm-hmm. They look nothing alike. They don't seem to act... He doesn't know what she acts like. So if he had known her and they're like, oh, they act the same, I'd be like, oh, that makes a lot of freaking sense.
Something.
He just saw her in a tube and was like, that's my wife.
It's the same size tits. That's it.
They had a mole similar.
It's not. It's something so
Something dumb.
insignificant.
Something dumb. So that was actually kind of bothering me. Like, I was like, that's kind of dumb. So you learn about that. So we learn. I'm just doing that now because it happens right over here. We learned that he was part of the people that were... So they were making like a miracle cure, just like a bunch of other times, and they're pretty sure their miracle
Rachel
cure...
or the cult?
No, our guy, vendor, in the government. He worked for the government.
Oh, this is his history.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so he was working for the government, and they were trying to make a cure for like all cancers or something. It was kind of like Mimic, if you remember Mimic. So they try to make the cure for cancer, whatever. It comes out, it like gets out of control, but they don't even know if it was them or not. But you learn that it was their fault. So like they get a bunch of the patient number, like first few patient 0 and whatnot, and they got it contained and controlled until our chick, what is her name? Holly. John's wife's name is Holly. She got infected real bad. Whoa. Like half of her body was infected. So you see how sad it was. They say we have to leave. We have to evacuate. We're lucky they're letting us evacuate. They should burn us all.
Right.
So they leave her, and he's all sad. And as they're leaving, she pulled him in and goes, they're going to bring the virus back, a sample. You have to stop them. You cannot let them bring the virus back. So his like lackey, he sees him with the case, and he like throws the case. They get on the plane. They leave, whatever. So they're like, they're on the plane. They're flying away. Was it the actual... No, okay, so they just got unlucky and a lightning strike hit their plane, and they ended up crashing in their plane, and the lackey had the virus on him and not in the suitcase. So it crushed on him, and he was like patient 0 for the outbreak outside.
Oh, that's why it kind of him.
Yeah.
Well, he tried to stop it. Yeah.
Exactly. And like they... Oh, yeah, and then they'd show a quick part back at the bombing site of the original bombing site where Holly died from the outbreak and whatnot. Yeah. They see like a dog or a person walking up and touching a body or something, so it double spreads. So it spreads directly, which they didn't need to do both. They could have done one or the other. I thought that was weird. But they show it spreading at the first site and then because of the plane crash, too. So
hey, this shit's bad.
So you get all that backstory and stuff, and then we hop back into he's infiltrating the cult camp.
Yep.
He befriends a lady. Her name is Arya, and her son is Kyle. He's going in for his treatments. His treatments that make people immune from that. So what should they say? How you get immune is that you get blood transfusions from other people that are immune, and then you become immune, which seems to be true.
That's cool.
It's true. That's how those guys out there were immune.
Yeah.
How you know. So
all it takes is one person, and then you spread
as long
it.
As you keep,
because you put their blood in there, it
other
becomes
people.
theirs, and then you can use theirs, right?
Yeah, that's what they was. I think.
Yeah, so you don't have to use the same guy twice.
I don't think they
going.
need to do Harrison again. I think it's
because you would develop that blood, right?
Exactly. That's what they are saying, at least. I don't know if that's a real thing, but that's what they're saying.
Okay, cool.
So, like,
comics.
we get actually a few pages of him, like learning about the cult, learning about this chick and her kid, and he gets kind of invested. And she kind of knows that he's there for some bullshit reasons, so she kind of rats him out. And they're like, he's like, did she rat him out? No.
Did he hit it first?
He no. He probably could have if things had gone differently.
I'm sorry, it's stupid.
Well, I said they got to know. It's not crazy.
Yeah.
There was not a bunch of romance, but yeah, it was. I know what you mean. Okay, so
I didn't have to bring it up.
So he's like, Joey's gone or whatever. He's going to get his. Not Joey, was it? Kyle. Kyle's gone. He's getting his blood transfusion or whatever. So our man sneaks off, goes inside to the area where all the kids are being treated and whatnot. There's no kids there. All the limbs have been coming from this cult, and every time they get any of the little kids, because kids' limbs are worth like $1 bajillion more than adult limbs, and they. If it was a kid, they would do that. They'd kill him or whatever, and then just tell the family that they died from something or whatever, something else. And if you're a big adult woman or man that they can use and need, they'll give them like the actual blood transfusion. So they're not killing every single person.
Right.
They're only killing kids. Some of them. Mostly just kids, but they were selling like
so that's okay.
Adult. They were selling arms and legs too.
Yeah.
He comes back to tell Arya. He's like, hey, they're killing your kids. She doesn't believe him. He has pictures. He shows her. And then she freaks out and says, I'm sorry. She ratted him out in between the last time.
Okay.
So the like, they're like orderlies. They're literally dressed like orderlies.
Scrubs.
Yeah, show up and like snatch our boy. So this is the first time he doesn't come out on top. He gets snatched up by these bad guys and dragged to Harrison. And Harrison's got a whole arm that's moss. Right here.
Oh shit!
So like he's like can infect people and by touching him with that, or he can like heal people with his blood.
But he's immune.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of actually really clever.
And it's just his one arm too.
Yeah, I'm immune, but I can spread it with this.
It was cool. So our boy, he starts like talking shit to our boy Vendor. And he's like, you don't remember me? I know you. And he's like, I don't remember you, whatever. And then he infects Vendor. Vendor chops his arm off instantly, of course. I don't know how he kept his knife, but they chopped his arm off. And then he like tortures him for a while. And eventually he shoves a moss into his actual eyeballs. Look at it, Matt.
No.
Look at it. Okay, so there's like close-ups of them shoving a needle in this dude's eyeball. So I could see it being a little squeamish-y.
I don't like that at all.
So yeah, so he like comes to kinda, and our Harrison is like kicking him. He's like dying. His eyes are turning into moss, and he's like wasting away kinda. And our Harrison boy is just like kicking him and like, recant, tell him I am God or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he's like, you don't remember me? He kept saying that, and he's like, no, I don't fucking remember you. And he tells the story. It was right after he got. That's how he got the death sentence, was from the crash. Something to do with the crash. That's how he got our boy Vendor got the thing.
From the plane crash originally, the lightning.
So like pretty much quickly after that, he was trying to find somebody that would let him experiment with his cure for moss or whatever. And it was some guy who was he felt the guy with his power, went up there, was like, hey, you're about to die in like a week or something. Let me try to infect you with moss first, because he's not. Yeah. He was actually not infected. He was dying from something else. Let me infect you with moss and then see if I can cure you. And he's like, okay, well, it's for the good of humanity, basically.
Right.
So he does it, and it kind of works. It works. It doesn't kind of work. He like eventually turns into what he is now, where like he's stronger. He was like super frail, about to die. Now he just looks like an older man who doesn't look that old.
Right.
So, what was I saying? Oh yeah, the old guy, the old guy Harrison, was the guy that he experimented on right after. Right. He didn't know what happened to him. I think he thought the guy died, but he didn't follow up or something.
He was just like, all right, later.
I don't know why it wasn't.
You want me to call you? Nah, don't worry about it.
Right. It was. Yeah, they don't explain why he didn't follow up. They really don't. Holy shit. Oh, he woke up the next morning completely cured, and then he left immediately.
Okay.
That's how he didn't know.
Yeah.
I'm sure he went back and thought he was dead.
Don't monitor him or nothing. Just let him roll out.
This world is crazy.
Yeah, so he never came back and assumed he died.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So,
He's like, I was waiting on you to call me. He's like, I was waiting on you to show up.
So our boy Moss rips his eyeballs out because they're moss infected.
Yeah. Oh.
So he rips
That's
his,
not that bad.
No, he rips his eyeballs out and then like runs away. Basically, the Jordans, which are the horse guys, find him and they actually help him. They pick him up and they carry him back to Lorna Dane's house.
Lorna
Dune. Yeah, Dune. Thank you. So apparently she also Lorna Dune was there, but they actually brought him back to a brothel. It's a brothel full of 50-year-old women, but wearing 12-year-old bodies.
Oh, gross.
And they keep getting certain parts replaced all the time.
Gross. That's not.
They don't go into that. What I just said is the most detail they go into.
I get it for the world building, but ew.
Yeah, exactly. So, look at the pictures of it. Yeah. They're no nudity or nothing, but check it out. They say they're old ladies.
That's not even.
They're old ladies, ugly old ladies.
Yeah, that's not even appealing
At all. It's gross. It's super, super gross in every way, shape, and form.
They're just little girls with fucking old ass, ugly,
haggard, like cigarette smoking,
faces.
sun tanning faces.
Hey, I just got home from school.
Yeah.
Like, ugh.
So, what was his name? Samson. The horse guys. The Jordans called Samson his homie. His homie came and picked him up and brought him to the brothel.
Yeah.
And they're all kind of hanging out, like, and Samson's like, "You're gonna let me actually help you now?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'll help you." And he's still, because he still needs those pieces for the lady or whatever.
Oh, right.
Still trying to do that.
Yes.
I know we got sidetracked like a mother, but like as they're going back to his office, our guy vendor's office, there's a bunch of human animal mix people in there, and they like just murder them, just like straight up shotgun these people instantly. Like they had zero chance. That's them dead. That's all of them dead right there on that one page.
Huh.
Yeah. So he's like, well, fuck, they're really looking for me now. And so he's like, I don't know what to do. Where am I going to go? Who am I going to contact? So, I'm so dumb. Yeah. So he does have the limbs he needs now. And he's Jameson and him, after they murk the guys that were hiding in his office or whatever, they go to the rich guy's, Mr. Newton's house where Rachel and the kid are frozen and whatnot.
Yeah.
So they go there. Him and Samson go there, and they like show him the pieces. And they cut off all their chunks. They put on the pieces and whatnot, and they're getting attacked during the operation.
Okay,
like people are flooding in, and it's the moss fuckers, I'm pretty sure.
The cultists?
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, it is. It's 100% the cultists.
Who else would it
Yeah,
be?
exactly. Well, police maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
So like as they're doing it, like he's like attaching their arms while they're being carried out. So
shit.
like they wake up. She wakes up and he's like real familiar basically with her because like he thinks it's his wife kind of or whatever. So like he's real weird about it. And then he's like, we have to save her. We have to keep her, like whatever. She has the cure. And she's like, what'd you say? And he's like, you have the cure. And she's like, no, I definitely don't know what you're talking about. I don't.
What?
I'm not a scientist even. Like, I don't do that. Why did you do this? And the husband's over there like this. And then the general, he finds out that's her dad. That's why he lied about her having the cure as well.
That's the general's daughter?
Yes, the general from the beginning. That was the general's wife got her arm attached all the time because she volunteered. He was at the beginning. And,
I remember.
So he had no idea they were related or anything.
So was she giving her arms to the daughter to test out or what?
What?
The mom?
No. Oh, no. She really worked at the at the thing.
Well, wouldn't her arms work? I mean, I guess she doesn't have her arms anymore.
Yeah,
technically.
that's what I was gonna. Yeah, exactly. So like they spill the
that's
the
my
secret.
daughter. She doesn't know the cure.
Yeah, basically. So they find out it doesn't have the cure. So our man faces off against the 4150 or whatever his name was. Here it is.
Oh, the scuba guy.
1340, the scuba guy comes back.
Yeah.
He's like the main henchman, pretty much.
For the cultists?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, exactly. So a bunch of the other cultists are just straight up marked by everybody. And then there's a full-on just hero fight between our boy Vendor and 1340. And I'm going to let you to kind of flip through it while I describe it. So they're in a zoo. They're fighting in a zoo. And the moss guy, the zealot guy, is just shooting moss constantly. So as soon as our boy Vendor gets hit with moss, he chops off whatever piece of him it is, and then throws off on the nearest animal limb that he chopped off the animal.
I see.
First, he uses a lion's leg.
Yeah, he
and then
chopped off a lion's
gets a
leg.
snake, and then the other guy does it too. He gets 2 snakes, and then like at one point, our boy like falls, and then he comes up risen like an angel with giant like bird wings that are bigger than any bird would ever be
In the zoo?
in the real world.
You got that bitch in a cage?
Yeah,
Like,
and he
what the
comes
fuck?
up and he ends up murking him, like chopping his head off.
So, yeah, he's flying. He's got giant wings,
Yeah.
a lion's. Yeah, they got a snake arm.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
he's like
crazy.
a chimera. He's got like all the pieces for chimeras.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, so that was awesome. I really, really
Yeah.
enjoyed that fight. That one page.
That's a cool shot.
Dope page. Like even the art in that works fine for
Yeah,
me.
that is a very they're less detailed on him.
Yep.
So he's just a silhouette. It looks pretty cool.
So our guy's just like broken, bro. He's like, fuck, dude. And then our boy Samson leaves, and we find out that Samson was hired by the general. The general's name was Gonzalez, and he was our boy opens a note from Gonzalez that says thanks for saving my daughter or whatever.
Right.
So he's kind of like, I think I'm gonna get some payback maybe here,
Yeah, right.
or something.
So everyone knows what was going on except me. Y'all could have just told me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, I probably still would have done
They just
it.
needed to pay him a bunch, and he would have
just
done
pay-
it.
they just went about this just to not pay.
Well, also he did it with a religious zeal, actually. So I guess it probably was a good idea
To
because he was
lie,
just
yeah.
like
I
he
have
was
to-
not going to
What's
stop.
the cure? Of course.
Terminator. He was like
If
the
someone
friggin'
came up and was
Terminator.
like, "Hey, if you do this, you'd save this person who knows the cure to save all these," like, fuck, man, how hard would you ride for
So
that?
as a micro wrap up for this book, it was super cool.
Yeah.
I love the story. The dialogue was cool.
It's done.
This is one.
Oh.
I looked it up, and I'm pretty sure there's not.
Oh,
anymore.
and there's no more.
Yeah, I don't
It
think.
still wraps up. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I didn't even say this. They're based in Irving, Texas.
Oh, nice.
So many of these comic companies have been in Texas somewhere.
It's fucking huge.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, it was dope. If you see it out, get it. I guarantee you, it's gonna be for a good price, and it's worth it. It was cool, and like I said, the art is not bad. It's just not my thing.
Yeah, it's not my thing
That's it.
either. It seemed like a really cool story.
It was
though.
amazing. If there's more, I would pay for more
Oh yeah.
for sure.
All right, man. So I got O. So check this out. Last time I got O, I did Orphan and the Five Beast.
I remember.
So just because I had O, I thought maybe let's do some research. Let's see if there's any news on Orphan. In my research, I came across Orphan Blade, another comic.
Yeah.
There's 5 issues of it, full story.
Cool.
This shit was awesome. All right, it was written by M. Nicholas Almond, Almand, and Jake Myler. All right, so it's Oni Press.
Oh, okay.
Oni Press. Yeah, I never heard of them. It's
I've
called,
heard of it.
Have you? It's called Orphan Blade. So it's very cartoony, right? Like, so it looks as if they were going to make it into a TV show, like an animated show, this is what it would look like. So
They wouldn't have to adapt it at all.
no, like despite it, here I'll just
let me
find
see.
something real quick. Like, look at that. That's how the art is throughout the entire comic.
Oh,
So
wow.
it kind of throws me off because it's very cartoony. It looks like it's
Extremely,
about to be a kiddie comic. It is not.
yeah.
But this just seems like, hey, this is the art style that we would go with. Like it just seems like pre-made to be a cartoon.
It does. It
and
looks
I
like
like it. Obviously, real quick segment. How are the
Faces?
faces? They're great. Obviously, they have so much personality to them. This is a flashback, so just scroll around. It starts with a flashback, but all the person have a lot of personality, very distinct. You know
here
who
we go.
everyone is. Yeah, very distinct characters. Great art. Like I said, real bubbly for my taste. But
I don't mind it.
Once I got into it, yeah, it works, man.
I prefer that one over the one I did.
Oh yeah. Mine's way better. So I did that for you. It came out in 2014.
Oh, thank you. Oh,
December 2014.
my
All right,
OCD can rest.
I don't remember the name of this place, and it's Earth, but it's different, like fantasy world. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is a journal from Dr. Africa in 1635. I'm not going to keep up with the dates, but anyway, a bunch of sorcerers, wizards, his master, alchemist, all these dudes got together, right? Super hubris. They were like, we want to see the face of God.
Ooh.
So they get together, they do this crazy spell. And what they do is they open up a portal, and they don't have a name for them, but this one city or country was the first one to call them kaiju. Means monster, basically ugly, big monster thing. So they started calling them kaiju, just destroying everything. They thought they were gods, and they were like, maybe they're created. Then they got to the point where they're like, well, they're probably just the denizens of another world, and they're just as lost and confused as we are. And they just happen to be like giant two-headed dragons. One of them looks like freaking Bill
They're really big,
Cyphers.
though, like a regular kaiju. Would
Huge,
be
yeah.
Okay.
Some of, but there's one that's like a triangle pyramid just floating. It looks like Bill Cypher's little chill spot from Gravity Falls.
Okay.
And it opens up with an eyeball shooting lasers out of it. Like, it's
Nice.
crazy different ones, man. There's like I said, dragons. Like this one looks like it has like metal armor on it.
Oh, yeah.
So they're all different types, like I said.
They're cool.
Crazy city, yeah. So, or a crazy mix of different sizes, different types of kaiju,
That's
right?
cool.
So they fought these guys for 30-something years until finally someone was able to kill one. All these countries got together and killed one.
Damn.
Now, Dr. Africa has grown up, and he's a blacksmith. So he starts going to find the corpses, trying to figure out if he can make a weapon or something that can damage them and hurt
From their
them with ease.
corpses.
So yeah, he ends up making these things, they call them artifacts. So he ends up making a weapon fucking amazing, makes it out of the hide and the bones of them, and gives them to these warriors, and they just start demolishing kaiju, like superpowers almost. They're just killing these giant monsters with
Finally
ease.
have a level playing field.
Exactly.
Finally. Okay.
So he doesn't see his problem because he starts making more and more and more, and he actually starts his own school to train people to make them. He said, now, the problem came when all of the kaiju died. So now we have a world with no kaiju and warriors out there with the strongest weapons known to man.
Nothing to
Not
use it
only can
against.
they just kill kaiju, but they can wipe out armies, man.
They didn't think that one through.
He didn't. So no, he was kind of like, well, fuck. That really sucks. So tons of times pass, years and years and years. We pick up with our main character's name's Hadashi.
Yeah.
And he's with his friends. They're of no consequence. Don't need to really worry about them. They're goofing around, horse playing. You could see there's sword fighting. He's got some moves, so he's not completely incapable. He's pretty well put together.
What's
you
his
know?
name? Hadashi?
Hadashi, yeah. So they end up fighting, playing a lot. They're always goofing around. And they're like talking, their master doesn't take shit serious, and he's always drinking and all this stuff. So they spill the sake, and they break a bucket. He's pissed. He's like, you need to go down there and get me some more. So they roll out. They're walking past their little fence, and they see a kid sitting out there homeless, and they're like, you know, if the master didn't take you in, you'd be like him. And he's like, fuck y'all. Y'all could have been like him too. Like, whatever. So as they're talking about their master, they're like, he's always drunk. He'd be a great master if he was sober, but he's never sober. So in their discussion, he like absentmindedly steals a puzzle from a store. And so they end up getting chased by all the police, the law enforcement there.
Right.
So they go towards this place, and they're like, let's go that way. And they're like, the blight's over there. Now, I didn't mention it earlier, but when the kaiju die, they contaminate the land that they die on. And it basically changes everything and makes it like alien. So like the animals get affected. The trees look different. There's
I like that.
different mud, dude, everything. It is like an alien world just in your backyard
Yeah.
because a kaiju died there. So because the houses they're running on top of and through are close to the blight, the law enforcement doesn't really come over there.
Okay.
They're like kind of scared,
It's like
right?
an exclusion zone.
So he falls through the roof of this girl, Socanyo. She's the only name I found difficult to pronounce.
Yeah.
She's the girl. She's got a little red strip of dye in her hair, and
She's
cute.
redhead.
She's like 16-year-old. I call her Soko. That's what I'll call her. Her name's Soko. So he falls through the roof, and they're talking. She's like, "What did you do? Why are they chased?" She's like, "Oh, I didn't do anything." She's like, That's cool. I don't do anything either." Like winking, like I steal shit all the time.
Right.
So she's like, "Y'all can hang out here." So they end up waiting there. They're like, "Guards are gone. Let's leave. It's nighttime." So the other two kids are like, "Fuck you, Hadashi. Like, you suck. You're the reason we just chilled in that stranger's house all night." So
It's your fault.
they run off without him. So he comes across this frog, this fat little, cute little frog that's like laying on his back. And he's like, "Oh, shit, you stuck, buddy?" Flips him over, sits him on his butt, and he's like, "Yeah, you look like you're feeling better." It turns into this crazy monster thing.
Oh, damn.
So it's little. I mean, it probably stands to like the middle of his shin.
It Megatroned him.
But it turns into big old teeth and tentacles coming out of his mouth. Just a straight monster.
Yeah, he looks gnarly.
Bites onto his hand, and they're sitting there struggling for a little bit. And this monster takes his ring, middle, and index finger.
Whoa.
So all he's left with is his pinky and his thumb
He hooked
on
him
his
horns?
on his dominant right hand. No, that would be the
Oh,
index.
yeah.
So just the hang ten, brah.
Yeah, oh,
So that's
damn.
all he can do. So he passes out and goes through a little montage of each day. You know, he's struggling to hold chopsticks. He can't hold a sword. He's learning how to fight. So it keeps going until 15 days later, he breaks another thing of sake. He gets kicked out.
Oh,
The
shit.
master's like, his sensei's like, "Fuck this dude."
I'm done with you.
Kicks him out. So Soko comes up and finds him. And she's like, "Come roll with me. Like, I'll give you a drink." And he thinks back to his master. He's like, no drink.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, a rice ball." And he's like, "Yeah, fuck it. Let's go."
The rice ball.
So it cuts to a little while later. He's got a bunch of food and he's running across the rooftops. He drops in on this this young blonde kid. He's 15 and Hadashi's 14. I don't know if I said it. This kid's name is Katsi. Katzz.
Okay.
So I might just call him Cat. So anyway, he falls on Cat and he's like, "Who are you?" And he tells him, he's like, "Oh, you're the new kid around here." And Hadashi's like, Yeah. What's your name?" He's like, "I'm Cat." And so Dr. Africa is there. He is now 55 years old. So it's been a while.
Yeah.
So he pops up randomly to their little hideout and he's like, "Hey, I need you to do this. I pay well." So he's not their boss, but he kind of, because of seniority and who he is, he's in charge.
Yeah.
So he lives past the blight. He lives on like an old fortress from the Kaiju War.
Nice.
So he occasionally will pop in and be like, "Hey, I need you to do this." So he shows up here to meet Hadashi and he says, Cat is my eyes and ears. So any shit that's going down, so I already knew about you.
Yeah.
So Cat's really good at his job. And Cat is the homeless kid that they saw sitting out front of the
Okay.
fence. So he was scheming and
Yeah,
and,
he's already spying.
exactly spying on Hadashi. So what you find out is Dr. Africa is doing experiments on the animals in the blight. Some fish don't have eyes. These fish do have eyes. He's like, "Why? How do they operate? Yada, yada, yada.
Okay.
I need you to go steal me 24 fish." So Hadashi's like, "All right, let's roll."
Fish.
So he rolls out there. He goes to the blight. And he's like, you can see he's like scared. He steals himself. This dude's like, those are those big ass.
I guess so.
So he steals himself. He's like, "Okay, let's do that." So you can see him. He legit wants to do this.
Right.
Right. He's walking. He's stepping in mud. So there's these little fish guys, little pollywogs is what he calls them.
Awesome.
They're tiny and they start attacking him. And then they're climbing a tree after him.
damn.
They're and big old teeth, nasty things. So he hears these people. He hears, "Oh, he must be crazy." And he's like, "What?" He said, "I knew Lord Shigiri was desperate, but damn, all this for a couple of relics from the Kaiju War." So what he finds is there's this man. His name is Funke the Head Cutter. He's not really important. So he's standing in front of this group called the Five Fingers of Death. There's a blonde girl, this little black-haired kid's mother, these two Greek-like bros,
Okay.
and then younger black woman, and then this blonde-haired person standing there. So it goes into who they are in a minute.
Uh-huh.
So we're sent to kill this guy and take the swords that he stole from Lord Shigiri.
Okay.
So he has the twin cleavers, and those are important, and that's what the
relics?
the Lord wants.
Okay.
Yeah, the artifacts.
Badass artifacts.
So the main chick, her name is the Reaper in White. She's 33. She has a big scythe called Flesh Harvest. Right. So she's pretty mean, but because it's bubbly,
Band name, trademark.
she doesn't look hardcore. She just looks like this chick could be hardcore or incompetent completely.
She looks like she going to a very fancy party.
Right.
Yeah. She
So
doesn't look scary.
she's talking to this woman. She's like, let Tenmari go out there. He hasn't had a kill yet. So Tenmari is the black-haired kid. He goes out with this woman named Frau the Cat. She's 18. Her artifact is the mask. So I'll bring it up later as it goes up. Frau has the mask. So the guy with the swords, he chops both of Frau's arms off like immediately. Cuts her
On
off.
purpose.
Like
It's
yeah,
her
yeah.
homie.
She lets him.
Yeah. Okay.
So she goes, now it's my turn. And she starts biting at him and gnawing at him and fighting him with no fucking...
arms.
Yeah, no arms. So she's fine. So as to Hadashi is watching this in the tree, he's like, oh shit, someone dropped a boken. And it's like a little wooden sword. Mm-hmm. So he plops down from the tree, and the two Greek bros, that's them. And I can't help it, but every time I hear him, I just see like, why, hello there, little boy. What an interesting hand you have. Like, I totally hear them
Let me
as
see their faces again.
some surfer bros. Those two guys on the left and right.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, no, it just totally fits
makes
too.
sense.
So he like, he got the sword and he's like, yoink, why would anyone leave this? So they pick him up, a big polywog pops up. So they throw him towards them and he's like, good luck, little bro. So when they kill something, this scene pops up. It says death blow. And then it tells you the name of the move.
Yeah.
Very anime inspired.
Yeah,
very cool.
video game.
So it's like death blow, scarlet pinwheel. So he kills this giant polywog thing immediately, does this crazy spin up in the air. The two Greek bros are like, that was impressive. We'll be seeing you. Maybe you'll be our master soon. And Hadashi's like, what? Was it the sword? What the fuck?
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So we're introduced to Lola the Hawk. It's this 28-year-old black woman. So she has the marked man. That's her artifact. She shoots 3 arrows at the head cutter guy, Funke.
Yeah.
And it goes past him, and he's like, haha, you missed, dumbass. And she's like, nah. Turns around, hits him. So her arrows basically don't miss.
Yeah.
So then we're introduced to Tenmaru. Now he has a dope ass katana that has just like black shadows pulling out of it. So sick looking. He looks like a little goth mascara wearing like goofy dude, but his weapon is the shit.
It looks dope.
So what it does is it wraps whatever he wants in darkness. They can't see, and then so he chops these guys' arms off. So they get the sword, the guy's down. So his mom is named Yoko the Bat. Her thing is the vampire's kiss. It's this cage. She throws the cage on the Funke, the twin swords guy, and she just pulls his head off. His head is in the cage.
Yeah. That's
So it's really dope. So these bad guys are all cool. And again, death blow, headhunter. So every time it shows death blow, they actually die. There is no coming back.
Yeah.
That's the comic telling
cool.
you they're dead.
Yeah.
So they're all psyched. They're like, oh, that was awesome, blah, blah, blah. Hey, make sure Frau with the mask, the girl got her arms cut off.
Yeah.
They said, make sure she eats. So she starts eating an arm that's just laying on the ground, the twin cutter guy's arm.
Oh, okay.
And her arms start growing back.
Nice.
So they're like, they start joking around, blah, blah, blah. Get to know each other.
Okay.
They're talking shit. And then the woman's like, come on, let's go back to Lord Shigiri. Knock that shit off. Let's go. Cuts to Hadashi. He falls in the roof again. And he's like, check out this sword. And then she's mad. She's like, where are the fish? Blah, blah, blah. So they're fighting. Cuts to Lord Shigiri. And he's like, yeah, I'm grateful you brought the little twin cleavers back. But where's the other sword? And she's like, you hired us to do that. And that's exactly what we did. And he's like, no, fuck that. There's a third sword. I need the third sword. So they're like, yeah, just pay us.
Yeah.
We'll go back out and get
Why
it.
didn't you say that the first time?
Well, they knew, he said, he told them to steal all the weapons, and they thought the artifacts were the cleavers. and they didn't know that the wooden Boken sword was also an artifact.
Gotcha.
They thought it was just some wooden sword.
because it's like a practice sword.
So he's like, where's the wooden sword? And they were like, oh, the little thief must have got it because the little Greek bros told him about it.
Noticed.
And some of them saw it. So they hear a noise and they look out the window and you find that Cat is outside and he's listening. So Lola, like, they make a joke about, like, it's definitely no one trying to get away from us. So after they converse for a little while, they look down. She sees him running away with a blanket over his head. So she follows him. So he busts into Hadashi and Soko's house, and they're like, dude, you got to get the fuck out of here. These crazy people are coming to kill you. You got to look out. They're probably on their way right now.
Yeah.
He's like, listen, these bad guys are after you. They know you have the artifact. They probably followed me. We got to get the fuck out of here. And they're like, where are we going to go? They said, well, Dr. Africa has that place beyond the Blight, across the water.
The old fortress.
Yeah, and Kat's like, I have a boat at Shobu Port, so we just got to get through the Blight, get to my boat. And Lola, the woman with the bow and arrow who never misses, she heard it. So she's like, Shobu Port, huh? All right, interesting. So now it cuts to them in the Blight. They're walking around. Kat starts like, yo, I gotta experiment I want to try here. And he was like, hey, Hadashi's like, can I see your sword? And he's like, yeah, just look at it. And he's like, let me hold it. And he's like, why you want to hold it? And he goes pretty much straight Gollum with the sword. He's like, it's mine, man. Why do you need it? And he's like, his eyes actually change. He's like, you want some of this?
Oh, damn.
So he gets pissed, and Soko's like, what the hell's going on? Kat's like, don't hold it against him. I'll explain it later.
Okay.
So as they're walking along, this big, they call it a face worm, this big gnarly ass fucking 3-story tall skeleton worm thing pops out.
Looking.
They start going to town. And like they're all pretty good at fighting. You find out Kat's a dope ass fighter. He's got this like weird, like tiny knife or spear, like a kunai on the end of a rope, basically.
Okay.
And then she rocks two axes.
Oh, damn.
I don't know what they would be called, but you see him right there, her in the middle. They're like little scythes.
Oh, yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, I have no idea what those are called.
Mini scythes.
Yeah.
Something like that.
One-handed.
So they're all badass, but they all get actually messed up. Like they all get pretty. Cat gets bitten, and he gets acid thrown up on him. Soko gets thrown around, and what's his name? Hadashi ends up getting his back sliced up.
Damn.
So he does a death blow, does amazing stuff with the sword, jumping around all crazy, cuts the thing's face in half.
Yeah.
So a tofu cutter, that's the name of that move. So they're talking, Cat's like, every artifact has a unique ability. Like, so this one seems to like possess the user and protect itself.
Okay.
So it'll always defend itself.
Yeah.
Based on your skill, like it not based on your skill. So if you're a big fat lazy dude, you could still probably jump around and fly.
All crazy, yeah.
And it seems like it's showing him kind of floating off, like almost flying. Like he's going one direction and then goes up and backwards.
Oh, damn.
So like the sword's almost changing its like trajectory and motion and being like, oh, back up.
That would be useful.
Now, I don't know if he could fly like fucking Thor, but it seems like there's it seems like there's a little bit of that in there. So Kat's really impressed. He's like, this shit's amazing when you think about it, blah, blah, blah. So they're worried. They're like, I feel like we're lost and we need to get back on the road. So the Five Fingers show up, and it's not all of them. It is just Frau the cat with the mask that can't die.
Yeah.
Lola the hawk with the bow and arrow. Yoko is the one with the head cage.
Yeah.
And then Tenmaru has the shadow sword, the moonlight shadow sword.
Okay.
So they attack, and she's like, the Five Fingers. She's like, well, should we introduce ourselves? We are just going to kill him anyway. And they're like, go ahead, do whatever you want. Right off the bat, right in the middle of talking, Cat throws his little spear straight into Frau's throat.
Oh, hell yeah.
Now, he doesn't know she's going to come back or not die.
Yeah.
So Tenmaru freaks out because he's kind of got a thing, the shadow kid. He's got a thing for the girl. She's 18, he's 13, though, so it's not going to work out.
Yeah.
He pulls his shadow sword on Hadashi. It gets dark as hell. Hadashi can't see anything, but he blocks his sword. And he fucks this kid up. So starts wrecking them. Now, Soko is fighting Yoko, the mom, and she's doing her head cage thing. They do this weird thing where they cut Frau's head off, put it in the cage, and then, like, I guess uses it as weight, possibly. I couldn't see any other reason why they would use it. So, but that happens. Anyway, Soko's fighting. She ends up chopping both of her arms off with her mini scythes. It goes, death blow, iron butterfly. So she takes care of the mom. Tenmaru's like, mommy, freaking out. So Hadashi is just going off on Tenmaru. He's like, stop. He's like telling his sword, stop, knock it off. Like, freaking out. So Kat is now fighting Lola the Hawk. The Shadow Kid Tenmaru gets thrown into the rocks. He's knocked out. Now Kat is fighting Lola. He's doing his little spear thing, his little knife on the string thing, messing him up. So he has this stuff called black sand, something Dr. Africa came across, and it lights when it's in contact with air. Oh, damn. So he throws the whole bag at her. And Hadashi stabs her through the stomach and sends her straight down to the ground. Big explosion, death blow.
Death blow. Oh, that's a good one.
Black sand. This is a dope panel. You're going to see it on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's freaking sick.
That looks
so,
dope.
Real quick, they just finished fighting the Frau the cat, because she can't die. She's still alive. Tenmaru, the shadow sword guy, he's still alive.
Yeah.
But the Lola, the bow and arrow girl, and the head cage woman are both dead. They're gone. So, this is weird. Now, personally, when I read this the first time, when Hadashi was going super hard with the sword, I felt bad. I was like, it was conflicting because the way they introduce the enemies, and it's like, you get their personality. They're not just shadowy, silhouettes of
There's somebody.
people.
There's somebody at least.
So I felt conflicted, like, yo, Hadashi, chill out. Which, it's so weird that I was like, and then I had to go back. I was like, well, Frau said they were gonna kill. They were gonna kill them.
Yeah.
So why do I feel bad? Maybe because I had this weird personal connection to them because you got to know them slightly before this happens, and they didn't seem like they were straight bad guys, because when they were introduced, they were chasing a man who stole something from someone else. They were just getting back their equipment that they were hired to get.
Gotcha.
So they weren't painted as bad guys.
Yeah.
And now
There's
this
just the
kid,
opposition.
Yeah. And this kid stole a sword that was part of that group of things. So it's like, they're not in the wrong.
No, not really.
Yeah, they're...
At least as far as they know, they're not.
Exactly. So I don't know why I felt... Now, the second time I read it, I was like, fuck them. Kill the shit out.
Yeah, they were
Go
going
harder.
That was the point.
Yeah.
They were doing that.
But I thought it was very strange how conflicted I was with that. I thought it was very, very strange. I thought that was very funny. So anyway, Kat, they get to... they finish the fight. Frau and Tenmaru, they're alive. They're able to get away.
Okay.
So
good.
Kat's upset because
he's
he's lost and he knows they're lost, and he knows he probably won't be able to make it out if they can't figure out anything. Because it's dangerous as shit.
Yeah.
And Tenmaru and Frau could just pop up at any second.
Yeah, they're still getting hunted.
Yeah, exactly. So and the Flesh Harvest, the Lady Reaper in white is still out there.
Yeah,
and the Greek Bros.
Oh, I forgot about them.
Right. So as Kat's walking around, he's walking down around in the woods to like clear his head.
Yeah.
And he comes across this big old creature, man. This really big creature.
Let me see.
This guy. So he's chatting. He's like talking to him. He's not some rabid animal.
You know, instantly jump him or whatever.
He's just like, hey, what's up? He's like,
what you doing?
I know it's hard to get around these lands without a guide, and I don't suffer that handicap. I can help you. And he's like, yeah, but what do you want? And he's like, basically, it's nothing to lose sleep over. It's just a favor between business partners. I'll get you. You'll wake up in the morning and you'll know how to get out of here. And then one day I'll pop up and I'll ask you for a favor. And the kid's like, fuck it. All right. Gives him his shoes. He melts his shoes into his hands. He's like, it's done. He's like, go get some good rest and the correct path will be clear to you in the morning.
Okay.
So it does. He goes to bed. He gets some good rest. He wakes up and he's like, let's go this way. And they climb this wall and they're like, the port's right up this wall, like straight up. We were super close. So as soon as they get up there, it's the Reaper in white and the two Greek bros. Now they're Xanthos and Balios. They're both 18, and they have the mountain crown. They're both wearing the same crown.
I saw it. It looks like the Wonder Woman crown.
Yeah, so it's the mountain crown, and it does something. It never actually says what it does.
Huh.
So anyway, she kind of breaks down. She's like, I understand you now. I know how you were able to fight my guys. Mm-hmm. So she says that Soko is one of the guerrillas from the Ryukyu Islands. Mm-hmm. They had a lot of experience warring against the Tokugawa. Tenmaru and Yoko, his mother, are from Tokugawa. So it's reason to think that that's why they were no match. That's why she was able to kill him. Basically, just a super old rivalry between these two people.
Okay.
And then Cat is foreigners that were adopted by a ninja clan. The rope dart was their speciality before they were completely wiped out. Mm-hmm. So he's like the only one left.
Mohicans.
Yes, exactly. And what's his name? Hadashi. Since there's no way that he can maintain a proper grip with his hand, it's obviously the sword is an artifact and it's helping him because he's pretty much worthless with just his
thumb and pinky.
On his dominant hand.
Oh,
so they end up fighting the flesh chick, and Soko and Kat get wrecked. Hadashi steps in, he gets wrecked. They're all getting cut up, beat up. Kat gets hit in the balls with the staff. They do a little trick where he gets the rope dart in her neck and in her forehead, and they're like, yeah, we did it. So as they're walking away, the two bros are like, hey, man, you shouldn't be celebrating that just yet. Just turn around and look, and then she's back. So they start fighting. Now, I'm going to do their voices for this. This is great. So she's like, Balios, I'm calling in your contract. These three are not to leave the port alive. As much as we'd like to, Master, other guy, I'm afraid these shackles are far too strong. Don't be ridiculous. You are more than powerful enough to free yourselves. I'm afraid you're mistaken, Master. Of course, we'd immediately jump into your defense if you were to free us, though. And then she's like, since resurrection leaves you worn out, perhaps one of your opponents would be sporting enough to do the honors. But that does remind me, Balios, when's the last time you seen her kill someone herself? I couldn't say, Xanthos. She relies on those comrades of hers ever so much. They say Flesh Harvest raises its owner from the dead once for every person they've killed with its blade. Right, but she carries so many knives. How many people has she actually killed with Flesh Harvest? Since the last time she died, 1.
Oh, damn.
Fucking, it was like my favorite part of the book.
Because Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
I just heard it in my head like that. But anyway, she's like, silence. If you won't help, I'll just finish him myself. Hadashi goes all Gollum, and his eyes change. He goes off, dude. Sends her flying in the air, stabs her, slams her down into the middle of like a ship that explodes, and it's like death blow, buried at sea.
Oh, nice.
So it's pretty sick.
Yeah.
So the Greek dudes are like, you're our master now. It's like, it helps the old lady at a small vessel not far from here. As our new master, you're totally entitled to it. So they roll off. They get to Dr. Africa's house now. And they end up breaking the whole story down. And they're like, he's like, damn, man, all this, I just sent you to get some fish.
Yeah.
He's like, this is wild. So he's like, this is really interesting. I remember when he made the Orphan Blade, he says it was for young Toyotomi's Hideyori. So it was for another country's leader. And he's like, it's found a new host. He's like, so each weapon crafted from the hide or bones of the kaiju brings with it a splinter of the original kaiju spirit, or more specifically, a curse. So that's why the chick. So well, I won't jump the gun. Hold on. He said there's another theory that he's never been able to prove, but that if someone was to obtain all the weapons that were made from the same kaiju, all the spirit pieces might come together and kind of rebirth that kaiju spirit into the host, right?
Okay.
So if you were able to get all their stuff together and wear it and use it, then you might have the strong strength and stuff, the spirit of this kaiju inside of you. It might not even be you. It might just be the kaiju that takes over. So he's never been able to prove this theory. But there's a reason that the Five Fingers keep finding them, because they have the same set. So they're all attracted to each other. The splinters of the spirit are trying to get back to each other. So it's easier to find someone when they have a weapon made from the same dragon or same kaiju as you, basically. So he was like, never been able to prove it. So it cuts to that night. Cat's sleeping. He hears a knock on the door, and he opens it, and it's that big, giant polywog monster thing that he spoke to. He said, I'm afraid the favor you granted was to let me in. And he backhands him, and then he runs out into the castle. So Xanthios and them are chilling, and he's like, think the doctor would put up a good fight? He seems stronger. And he's like, you heard what he said? That sword will attract other weapons. You know what that means? Bigger, stronger dudes to fight. So they're just loving the prospect of fighting strong people, and they're like, we'll roll with this guy. He'll probably come across some strong folk. So this monster sneaks in, immediately kills one of them, death blow, 6,000-pound punch. So the brother's pissed off. Now, the off panel, they didn't show it, but Tenmaru and Frau, the cat, the mask, and the sword kid, they met up with this monster. And they were like, let's travel in together. We're going to kill them. And they said, oh, that thing you want, they never mentioned it, but the thing you want, it's in the castle. So come with us. We'll kill our guys. You can get your thing. Everyone's happy. So, and he says it, I think, you've been hidden far too long. I can smell you close by. You're decaying. The guy thinks he's talking about his brother. So he says, young ducklings, it seemed your information was correct. I believe what I'm looking for is here after all. There's a big circular wooden door built into the ground, into the floor of the castle. So him and the other Greek bro, they're fighting. Hadashi wakes up, comes out, sees the shadow kid is fighting the Greek bro. There's a big frog monster standing in the middle of the room.
Going off.
And he's like, oh, it's you guys. So Frau is over in the corner eating the brother. And because remember, she was just a head.
Yeah.
So now her body's coming back. She's basically a skeleton.
Yeah.
So
she looks bad.
Yeah. So the frog guy, they don't say his name. The big frog guy.
Yeah.
So Hadashi's like, who are you? And he's like, I'm a friend of a friend. So he pushes him into this hole, and he closes the door. So Dr. Africa's running around. He's like, someone's inside. And he's like, this is bad. Where's Hadashi? So they're running around. They're looking for him. And they're like, who is this guy? And then Kat was like, well, we were in the Blight. We were lost. I made a deal with this guy.
Oh, yeah.
He needed a favor. This is him. So they end up fighting. They're like, where's Hadashi? So the frog guy goes, you naughty human. You should have never collected the bones of a god for your weapons. Even worse for you, that is, you kept them all conveniently in one place. So, let's see, where does he say? He said, here's a big roar, big loud scream, and he's like, that's my cue to leave. He's like, I like to avoid entanglements whenever possible, and to the human race, he's like, goodbye forever. Now this big light, blue light, erupts from the hole, and it cuts the other Greek bro, in half. Says death blow, no return. So the Greek bros are done. Tenmaru, the little shadow sword kid, he gets thrown across the room. And Tadashi pops out just wearing all types of kaiju armor. He's got everything.
Yeah,
head
covered.
to toe.
He's covered.
Except, not head to toe, neck to toe.
Yeah.
With the sword. So they're all like, Hadashi, what the fuck? They're like, yeah, he found the armory. He said, that monster managed to resurrect a kaiju. Like, we're fucked. So it goes to a flashback, and it's Dr. Africa basically breaking down the fact that they give you gifts or powers, but they are curses. Yeah. Because the kaiju are generally not happy-go-lucky spirits.
Thing.
Yeah, and they're killed and used for this sorcery that they're like almost pissed off. So he breaks down which ones, like the five fingers of death, what they are. So he says the Kasha mask, which is Frau, the girl who can't die.
Can't die at all.
Yeah. The owner loses all sense of pain, and they will eventually seek self-mutilation and hunger for the flesh of others. So
We saw
just
that the first time we
insatiable
saw
hunger,
her.
and that's
Yeah.
how she comes back.
Yeah.
So the Moonlight Sword, the Shadow Sword, it narrows the user's focus, causing them to pursue a single-minded goal and forsake all else. Okay. So this kid's got crazy, like ADHD, or no, what's the opposite? Yeah, laser focused on one thing. So if he likes the girl, Frau, that's all he thinks about.
Okay.
And if he's trying to kill this person, that's all he'll do. So it's basically like Hadashi's fighting his friends. Hadashi's fighting Tenmaru and Frau. Soko and Kat and Dr. Africa are fighting. It's one on one.
Damn, yeah, it's a free for all.
Yeah, everyone's fighting everyone. So he starts wrecking them. I mean, he's punching Dr. Africa around. He's hitting Soko. He's punching Kat. Oh yeah, and he's gone. His eyes are all slit, so he's totally not there. So he's wrecking him. Frau's fighting him, and Kat's like, "You don't have to fight anymore, man." He starts doing the friend speech.
Yeah.
So Frau's like, "Fine." She takes her mask off finally, and she gives it to Hadashi. And she says, "This is what you want, right?" She's like, "Put it on." And then she's like, "Put it on and feel that hunger." She's like, that crazy, crazy hunger that you can't control where your friends start looking tasty, right? So he's about to eat Kat. He actually bites into his shoulder. And he puts his hands around... Oh, no. Real quick. As he's biting Kat, Soko grabs Tenmaru's shadow sword and breaks the mask on his face. So the mask is gone. He's pissed, and he's got them both. He's choking them. So he's getting flashbacks, right? He's remembering Soko being like, "You can stay here." Now Kat puts his hand on his cheek, and he's like, "It wasn't the sword. All those times you saved us, it was you. Blah, 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 man. You don't need the sword. The sword wasn't protecting you. You were protecting us." Real emotional moment, right? Very close friends type thing.
Yeah.
So he's like, "Fight it." He's like, "I shouldn't have said that was amazing. I should have said you were amazing." It's like, "We can protect each other now, blah, blah, blah." Hadashi breaks the sword, and he's just chilling. Now he's fine. He's good. He's still got all the other shit on, but the sword's gone.
Yeah.
So Tenmaru and Frau, they don't have their artifacts. The mask is broken. The sword is gone. And they're just rolling off together. They're like, we're the two fingers of death. And they're like, that's not intimidating at all. They're like, we'll figure something out, right? Really good. They're fine. And then it cuts to Hadashi and Kat. And they're like, the doctor, he's burning all the artifacts he has. He's like, so his next mission is to go out and find all the artifacts and get rid of them.
The rest of them. Okay.
Soko's going to join him. He's talking about him and Kat might join him. Now, this isn't a big part or important, and I don't care either way. But at the end, Kat leans in to kiss him. So I think Kat and Hadashi got a thing for each other, because you can see his cheeks blushing right there.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I think when Kat was, like, touching his hand or touching his head, he was like, it wasn't friends, it was love. Yeah, it was love.
Foreshadowing.
So that's technically what saved Tadashi.
That was subtle-ish foreshadowing.
Yeah, because you think the 18-year-old girl's the one he's going to pine over, and it's like, he's 14 and the boy's, Kat's 15. It's work. It works. Young fantasy world love.
Yeah. That's
All right.
cool.
So that was the end. It was amazing. There's no more after it. That's 5 comics. So now this is some bad news about it. This is what sucks.
Okay.
Let
me have it.
Marcus Nick Almond. He was a talented writer with a big heart and even bigger imagination. So he passed away in 2013, and this was his first book that he wrote with Oni. So this book came out in 2014.
Damn.
He passed before he got to see this released.
Damn.
Yeah, and there's this amazing picture at the end with all the characters in the rain standing around a grave. We're actually going to put it on the YouTube video and like kind of have a little silence for it and stuff. Yeah, exactly. So it's a very incredible book. It really sucks and sad that this man did not know how incredible his book. It's incredible.
It turned out awesome.
It would make an amazing set of movies, an amazing TV show if they stuck to it. It's already made.
Yeah.
Just make a move and that's it.
Yeah.
If this was ever made into anything, it's incredible. If anyone finds this out in the wild, definitely buy it. Besides Mr. Easta, this was probably one of the most fun I had reading a comic. It might have surpassed Mr. Easter.
Really?
That one was just wild and bonkers, but this one was so good. I mean, the lore of it, the fact that I thought it was going to be kaiju fighting. There was no kaijus in it. They were gone. The problem was the weapons afterwards. That's incredible. That's cool. Incredible story.
Yeah.
I love that the
the
five fingers of death were not the main bad guys. They were, but it ended up being him.
Yeah, so like that'd be like an opponent instead of like a bad guy or a good. It's just the person opposing you.
Yeah, exactly. Very, very well made book.
Yeah,
loved it. 10 thumbs up for sure. Very sad he never got to see what happened with it, dude, but it's incredible. And yeah, definitely grab it if you find it out there.
What was it called again?
Orphan Blade.
Orphan Blade.
Orphan
by
Blade.
Oni Press.
Oni Press.
Yep.
Nick Almond.
Yeah.
And what was the other one? It was Meyer something. Let me see where'd it go. Jake Myler. It didn't say what they did, but those were the only two names where it said made by, created by.
Yeah. Wow.
It was good, man. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Loved it. All right, man.
It is time.
All right, this is our segment, Matt versus Adam. We take a random character generator and we see who would win between the guy I get or the guy he got. We have Marvel, DC, video games, and cartoon characters, anime, which we won't do until we get Sam on this piece.
Not again.
And then, probably won't be doing that. But today we're going to do all Marvel, right?
Yep.
All right. Oh, that's not it.
I agree.
All Marvel. Let's see. All right. I'll kick it off.
Let's see.
Nope. That is not. It's messing up. Give me 2 shakes.
Of course it is.
Yep. 2 shakes. 2 shakes. Oh yeah. Last week on the episode, we were confused on the record, and we said 11-6, and we did some research, and it's actually 10-6.
10-6.
So you have 10, I have 6,
Yep.
because one of them didn't count.
Yeah, it was a tie.
Because it was fake.
Fake tie.
Yes. So. All right, it had to download again for some reason.
And if we can, we'll try to never tie. We'll try to do something.
Yeah, try not to. Yeah. Okay, I got Spider-Man.
Okay, cool.
Just you don't have to hit record. Just hit the screen.
Definitely could have gotten worse. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, that's sure.
Please,
that's
please,
for
please,
sure.
please.
Are you fucking serious? You already got him before.
I have.
You want to do it again? Because you've done that before.
The
other week
again,
you were like,
but I already won.
Well, yeah, that would be a win. But you did it the other week. I'm just following your rules.
Yeah. It's good. I'm fine with that. As long as we agree.
Well, it's gonna be like Odin. God, it's worse, isn't it? Okay.
Surtur.
I mean, okay.
Yeah.
This might not be as open and shut.
Even here, and I know that's what you're thinking. Like even here in our real world, he would still just squish you.
What do you mean? Because he's just big?
Yeah, he is super strong. Obviously, he's like a god in his own realm.
Yeah.
So like, if we were there, you literally couldn't do anything.
But
the arena is just downtown Houston.
Yeah,
so
a 2-block radius downtown, regular shit. So all right, so you got superhuman strength, speed, agility, endurance, stamina. What is it? Senses, reflex, and wisdom. I have all of that.
Oh, yeah.
Pyrokinesis, so you got fire.
Though?
Shape-shifting, levitation, dimensional travel, immortality, and the Twilight Sword, which
that's cool.
You don't have.
Maybe I have.
So, I mean, it doesn't sound all that crazy. Now, it's like, as far as power goes,
that's what I was gonna say.
Like it's just you don't have like a lot on me. It's more simply of
the power.
How
level.
much more do you have?
Yeah. So that's what, like you said, whenever you describe the powers like that, you're like, oh, they have kind of similar powers. But it's like, yeah. So the toddler has similar powers to the professional baseball player because they both swing the same way.
Yeah, but okay, Thor regularly fights Surtur. And Spider-Man can hang with Thor. So whenever they're in
his realm and whatnot, Surtur fucks up Thor.
Well, yeah.
When they're here, yes, Thor usually wins against Surtur. But Thor would wipe the floor with Spider-Man too.
Yeah, I mean,
he could just electrocute him from 20 miles away.
It's SUTUR, right? That's how you.
SURTUR? Surtur?
Oh, SUR.
Mhm.
Okay. TUR.
I think so.
Surtur
Surtur.
versus.
Yeah. Because he's like
Spider-Man.
like not multiversal, like an interversal, like he's big, like a universal threat.
I mean, okay, so someone asked the question, and someone immediately was like, "Dude, Surtur solos. He doesn't even have it.
Solos what?
How much? Yeah, I mean,
Everything? Because that's not true. But if you're
Right.
talking about like, I don't know, a few of the Avengers at a time, yeah, probably.
it's just one answer, and the guy said Surtur because, but he
'Cause
was
duh.
like, yeah, he was, but he was
He
like,
didn't
look at
have
the
any-
Hulk. The Hulk fought Surtur, and it was like Spider-Man can't beat the Hulk, but he can damn sure fight him.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
as long as you don't get mushed, he could jump around and slow down the Hulk and do stuff like that.
Yeah.
If I wasn't literally like a god, because Spider-Man holds back. Spider-Man has a lot of
and
powers.
very strong. We talked about
Exactly.
this. He's very
So,
strong.
Like I said, even if, like I said with the Hulk, there's even ways that, like I said, he could slow down the Hulk. He could tie him up some in the really good webbing or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
But he's not. You can't. He just can't win.
Like how big is he? I want to know. It
If
doesn't
you had
say.
the Baxter building or whatever, the Parker building, and access to prep time and blah blah blah, you would win.
Mhm.
But we're walking out of our donut shop and coffee shop, and I see your ass.
I mean, because you're 1,000 feet tall.
My foot probably takes up most of the 2-block radius.
Yeah, it does. So, like, what, do we shrink you, or we just go in
Well,
size?
I know he
like-
can go bigger and smaller. I know he can. He has to be able to.
Right, but still, even then, that's just super
I'm
powerful.
still powerful, just smaller. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
I just don't think it's an immediate like wiping the floor. I think Surtur might be breathing hard. He might bust a sweat. Dude, Spider-Man's dope.
Maybe.
He's fast. He's super strong.
Maybe. Like, I know I say it a lot, but I mean, obviously, since you're the good guy and I'm the bad guy in the comics, somehow you
Yeah, I
win.
would find a way.
But
But
we
like you
don't
said,
do
we're
that.
leaving the
No,
donut shop
that's
in the library.
dumb.
So
Yeah.
we have no, you don't have
no
your
prep
sword.
time. You don't have your billions of dollars in your giant company.
Safe that I have my web shooters, and that's about
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I'll give you that.
Whatever else would be on my belt, but nothing he
Nothing.
distinctly
Not a
carries all the
cosmic
time.
cube. You don't have
exactly.
a cosmic cube or like the Necro sword or something. You're
Yeah.
just Spider-Man.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely you. You got that one for sure. Damn.
Yeah.
Fuck it, Spider-Man. I thought it was a good pick until they had to bust out. Oh, you want some
I
god
got
level shit?
Mangog first.
Who would he have done better against?
They're both like god level.
Yeah. This is some bullshit.
So maybe because Mangog's just kind of big,
Yeah.
maybe that would be actually so he could like jump around and web him up and stuff. So
Yeah.
maybe Mangog.
Okay. Can I
Thor
web you
fought-
up?
Mangog's a Thor guy, right?
Yeah, I
that
think.
guy?
Yep.
And so, I mean, he's a physical thing at least. You know what I mean? He's got a corporeal form for fuck's sake.
Yeah, I mean,
I
yours
barely
is
do. I almost
1,000 feet tall when you do have
so
it.
I think he would have done better on Mangog.
Probably,
actually,
yeah.
but not a lot.
All right, fuck it. Fuck you.
Was
Give
that
you a win.
11-6?
That's 11-6
Okay,
now.
now it's 11-6.
Now it is 11-6.
Okay, I'm happy with that.
God damn it. All right, so we are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. New episodes release every Monday on all podcast platforms and accompanying videos on YouTube for your pleasure.
Check your corkboard at your local community college. we also post there.
Yeah. This is where our news exclusively, all our news
Our
is
newsletter,
from.
our
Yep.
zine that we
Yep.
publish.
Yep,
yeah.
exactly. So check it out there.
Yep.
If you have been listening, thank you. If you've been liking the pages or visiting or anything like that, we appreciate all of it very much.
Yep. Any of the internet stuff is appreciated.
Yeah. Go do all that internet stuff. Apparently,
You
the
know.
listens, likes, reviews, it helps us a lot
know.
to get us out to other
It
crap.
does.
You know how it works.
Yep.
Just do the internet stuff if you feel like it. Either way, we appreciate everything anyone's
Just
doing
listening.
for us. Shout out to our international listeners.
Yeah.
If they're real.
Germany.
Brussels, man.
Brussels,
Belgium.
too. Yeah.
Belgium and France. They got
That's awesome.
more than one in Belgium.
Yeah, so it wasn't a fluke.
No, I don't think so. Unless it's just like you said, a VPN.
It could
if
be a
not,
VPN.
shout out to you anyway.
Let
we
us know if
appreciate
you're
it.
using a VPN.
Yeah. If you're really from Belgium, in Brussels.
Yeah, that would be nice to clarify.
Shoot us a letter. Just be like, yeah, I am. I'm not a VPN. What's up?
Post it at the local community
Yeah,
college.
fly down here.
Yeah.
Make sure
It's
you
on
have
the
your
cork
passport.
board.
It's
The
on the
cork
cork
board.
board. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So we appreciate it all very
Thanks,
much.
guys.
And that's it. So y'all have a good one.
Bye.